Welcome to the Underground Nation podcast, the platform built for raw, unapologetic creativity and the true voices of the underground. Hosted by the ghost with the most, Bounce Ball Boogie, this isn't just another interview show, it's a spotlight on the stories, struggles, and triumphs of independent artists. From hip-hop to genre-bending innovators, each episode dives deep into the grind, the passion, and the culture that fuels the underground scene. This is the Underground Nation podcast.
Underground Nation podcast family, today we're bringing you a force of nature, a multi-genre powerhouse who refuses to fit in a box. From the grit of hip-hop and trap to the raw edge of grunge and metal, this artist has been bending sound and breaking boundaries for over 2 decades. He's rocked stages with legends like Jelly Roll, Juvenile, and Roscoe Dash, and shared the mic alongside KRS-One, X-Rated, and Lil Z. You may have seen him turning heads with his animated single Tattoos in the Cemetery, or commanding the streets of Hollywood Blvd like it was his own personal stage. But behind the music is a relentless story of grind, transformation, and vision. Today we're diving deep into the mind and journey of Atrophy. Welcome to the Underground Nation podcast, my dude.
Yeah, I can't follow that intro up. Oh my God, man. Yeah, man. Let's kick some ass, man.
Absolutely, man. I'm so glad you took the time to speak with us. I know you have a busy schedule, so I know it means a lot to us and everyone here at the Underground Nation, so thank you again.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, man.
Freaking literally. So, I mean, for people meeting you for the first time through this interview, who is Atrophy in your own words?
All right, so Atrophy is myself. It's a full embodiment of what I feel. And unfortunately, the things that I've felt the most disconnect to are now the grounds for what the whole root system is that's feeding the machine. So Atrophy, as myself, I stand for community and building up others and creating pathways for people. So I want to leave behind a legacy that generates, momentum of creating music for forever, really.
Ever?
Yeah.
Dope. What would you say is the earliest memory you have of falling in love with music?
Oh man, dude. So this is cool. No, it's really cool because me and my wife, we just got married this year. And
hey, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. April 3rd. We actually went to Hell, Michigan. What we did was we went there and figured that if a marriage starts in hell, it could only go up from there.
Absolutely.
The reason I bring that up is because we got a piece of Bruce Dickinson's tour plane. Okay, so Iron Maidens have been a really big influence on me and Bruce Dickinson as a stage person and a human being, So I actually discovered a VHS tape underneath my dad's bed the same day I discovered porn magazines. The same day. I was really at a loss for words. Really, I haven't discovered either one of those things, but I figured out how to use the VHS. And I'm actually glad that I picked the Countdown to Extinction from Megadeth and Iron Maiden to play rather than the illicit materials that was there. It definitely caught my eye, but what stuck with me was seeing these guys, I was wearing the big gauntlets, all the leather, and just seeing Alice Cooper. He's guillotine in his head. I got the for the new collective that we're starting with Rhythmic Records. So it's everything that I could possibly think of, man, from the earliest times was really rock star shit, man, like Motley Crue, Megadeth.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I was going to hit the stage and try to entertain, and bring healing through chaos, man.
Heck yeah, that's very cool. Around what age would you say that was?
Oh, dude, I was still pretty shitty, I was 6 or 7 years old, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you more about your name because as I was doing research and going through your press kit, it's been brought to my attention you were once known as Dirtnap.
Yeah,
what did that name represent for you, and how did you evolve into Atrophy?
All right, so Atrophy became, what it is now from becoming what I thought that I wanted to be. And a lot of us are under facades by, standing next to an artist that you perceive to be successful. And, I ended up in a lot of that lore. Dirtnap actually became really just what it sounded like, If you were really hanging out with Dirtnap, you're getting one of two things, you know what I mean? And I really had to separate that, even after doing that show with Lil Xan, seeing he evolved as an artist and as a person, he went from glorifying the stuff that held him back ultimately to being able to actually use his fan base to connect with other people. They're like, hey man, you need chill out. It's not cool to be found dead in a van at a festival.
Definitely not.
You know, so while that does happen, that's what, you know, I'm about, man. Dirtnap, I buried it. You know, it doesn't mean that it's, you know, the components don't exist, but I'm part of salvaged pieces, and so many different pieces of web, so to speak, have grabbed me and kind of taken me to where I'm at now. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm sober. I don't do anything anymore. No drugs, no alcohol.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, man, the alcohol thing.
When did you realize that it was a problem and you had to find sobriety?
Oh, man, forever, really. Just because I came up when I was younger, man, where my parents were really neglectful and negligent to the point where, you know, bathroom habits were unaddressed. So I actually become septic, and my intestines started to split. So at a young age, I was going through all this stuff. And when the doctor had introduced this medical thing, you know, what a suppository or an enema is, my parents they started using that as a punishment or a means to manipulate. So yeah, I know. So doing it, and I'm saying this not out of like, oh man, I'm saying this because
I get it.
If that happened in the 90s, and there was plenty of other craziness, if that happened then, and you can imagine where our future's attention span is, it's right here. It's 10 to 15 seconds at best. So that's why I try to share awareness on, if you're falling behind, if you're lagging, if you're not known to these resources. Every time that you spend away or belittle something to a child, you don't really realize, you know, that how much of that stuff is really falling back. You know, my grandparents would have imagined that it was taken care of, but ultimately, you know, I ended up in a molestation and a rape involvement where I was a victim, and I was kicked out by my dad. You know, I was called not a great word, but and was told to leave there. So feeling like the people that I was supposed to trust really kind of like disconnecting me. I didn't understand it. I watched my mom, you know, be cool with my friends, and I felt like she was kind of making up for it to me vicariously through them. I know this sounds crazy, but I felt like, you know, she was kind of like stuck in this thing with my dad. It was all still wrong, but it led me down some roads, man. You know, substance abuse. I ended up getting pimped out, you know, because I discovered drugs. I discovered being a do boy for other people. And the music really entangled me in my drive and my artwork, you know.
Right. So we can't say it was just one specific event. It sounds like several events that led up to you saying, I'm dedicating my life to music.
Yeah, dude. So that sobriety thing is a big one to me, man. I didn't realize I was self-medicating. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I was abusing, but when you start breaking up with yourself and not your girlfriend, that's a hard one to get back, man.
I definitely been there myself, so I truly understand.
Yeah.
Before the chaos and before you making that decision to go full throttle in music, did you have any other dreams or career paths that you were kind of debating?
Yeah, at one point in time, I was, you know, I really wanted to be a skateboarder. I think everybody that watched Viva La or played Tony Hawk wanted to.
Yeah, Tony Hawk.
Yeah, you know,
on the PlayStation 1, Tony Hawk.
Dude, I've got it downloaded. When we get done with this, man, I'll share some stuff with you. I've got like a whole plethora of things to do there, but I think that it was so nuts. Oh goodness, I got off track, man. Bring me back because I got ADHD.
Oh, you're good. You were saying with being a skater and watching Viva La Bam and Tony Hawk, they had some motivation for you.
Sorry, dude, I get excited when it comes to, you know, like things that I'm really passionate about. But I really wanted to be an artist, and I'm still tattooing. So even through prison, even through different things like that was, you know, supposed to hinder me. When I was younger, I started drawing fan art. And Joe Quesada is the editor-in-chief, well, the ex-editor-in-chief for Marvel. I had no idea, but I learned how to wash stamps, man, off my grandma's mail. And I was like, I didn't know that's a federal charge. But it turns out that it is. So I did some research. I allegedly had done this. And, dude, I did that for 3 months, and I ended up with some manila envelopes coming back to me. And it was Joe Quesada and, you know, like Stan Lee. Like, picture of my stuff in the cubicle like this, you know, and I'm like, I carried it around my book bag for years. So I think where I felt like, you know, kind of stuck and where I was at, I was my own support system to a degree, and my friends and support were older. So that I think it kind of like made me ground myself to things that I was passionate about, you know.
Right. So then would you say that the friends that were older or possibly family members well, let me ask you, how did they react when you decided to take music seriously?
From the underground to the main stage, Atrophy is rewriting the rules of music. Blending hip-hop, trap, grunge, and metal, his sound is raw, ritualistic, and unforgettable. With over 20 years of independent grind, he's rocked stages alongside legends like KRS-One, Lil Xan, and X-Rated. And his latest single, Tattoos in the Cemetery, proves why he's a voice you can't tashkeen. Ignore. Want to experience Atrophy? Tap in now. Stream his music on SoundCloud, Qobuz, and YouTube. Follow his journey on Instagram at atrophy.music and catch his live shows across the underground scene.
Oh man, well, my grandpa, he was always like, he didn't do drugs or drinking either, and his thing was just fishing, and he would just play the guitar all the time. So I just, I used to like playing Bonanza on there and watching Rifleman and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, while that may not be my thing, that's what got him into that comfort and feeling like he could share that piece of himself with me. And that transferred to me, bro, and I see that every day now, like with the things that I'm passionate about with, my kids and trying to establish, relationships with the ones that I don't have that with yet.
Right.
So but I think that, they were very supportive. Obviously, parents, no. Obviously my mom was, that was a whole different machine. It's kind of like always wanting that kind of attention or that validation. But I think really trying to make people accept me for things, really, I think it took me to a darker part, when I started losing those people that were older. They were like my grandparents and stuff like that. As they die off, you kind of like your support system's just hanging out on stilts, so to speak.
Yeah.
But you got to make them.
I definitely get that. My grandparents raised me. My parents were lost in the sauce. My grandfather, he was a mariachi player. He played the guitar. So that's where I started kind of getting the jive for hip hop, because he would just play the guitar.
Right.
And I would just start singing along with it naturally.
Right. I mean, that's good. That's heartstring stuff.
And he was the one that realized I had some talent and put me in a talent show with him where he was doing the guitar and I was just rapping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we were just having fun. I didn't think about it like to be something I could make a career out of.
You really had no clue, because, things that I kept getting hung up on, I was like, man, this is way more inspiring. Because, I was in the military for 4 years and I did 5 years in prison. And the programs that I wanted to bring was for those kinds of people, what I'm saying? So my daughter's going through Shriners Children's Hospital, so I wanted to bring a program that allows children to learn how to do what me and you are doing, and then connect with those other kids that are going through these similar experiences, not to be overwhelmed by, a doctor's touch of coldness. They're pleasant to deal with, by the way. It's great. But, those kind of things they can't supply through, medical, while that's very, very much needed. Just that escape for a minute. You never know what just getting a pair of studio headphones and an auxiliary cable could mean to a kid that's going through chemo or, encephalitis or things like that.
You're right. I was just telling one of my friends the other day. He said, "How long have you been podcasting?" And I said, "I've been podcasting before I even knew podcasting was a podcast." I remember back in the day when Home Alone came out and the little boy had the little recorder. Yeah. He'd walk around with that thing. I remember I got that for Christmas one year.
Oh my God.
I was podcasting.
That's a big thing of mine too. It's like, now if me and you do what me and you are doing now on the street, obviously they're going to think one or two things, and it's usually not a great one. It's going to be, I'm getting weed or some shit like that. So I'm like, if you think about it, conversations, like I said to you, have become vintage. And that's why I said I'm a collector, because there's truth in having a personable, this is as close to me and you can get as far as having a real conversation. But I'm like this if you were sitting there, that's not green screen. I'm just sitting here at the table chilling. Yesterday, I was going to rock that thing with you with the schedule mix up at the fishing at the lake, man. I was like, man, I'm always on the go. So I'm like, this would be different to do it at the lake, just fishing with the kids, But,
yeah, it would be. It would be cool. But timing and the universe has its own decisions.
We got it right, though.
Absolutely dope. I definitely appreciate you making that work for me. So then, can you tell me what was your very first performance like?
Oh, dude, I was like that close from pissing my homeboy's pants. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I threw up pretty good, because the first time that I had actually like really performed in front of like a group of people that, not that everybody doesn't matter, but like one of those teeter-totter moments.
Right.
And I think everybody who has those cataclysmic moments with an artist that they look up to, most people that are my age or most people that are coming up now or whatever in our audience don't know who KRS-One is. You know what I'm saying? So,
It blows
and I
my
know
mind.
it sucks, but I tell people now, I got done doing the Master Killer show, and some people don't even know who that is. And I'm like, what the heck, man? But doing that cipher at the Dynacon in Greensboro, epic. Because when I had somebody that was, because that was a freestyle. And a freestyle, by the way, for those who don't know, is where you don't write. And if somebody is jacking you on your audio, if that messes up, you know how to save yourself and not look like a fool, because it's going to be very apparent, and it's easy to get served, and you can't talk your way on stage out of being called out for writing a freestyle. So it's really easy to get yourself hung up on it, So I feel bad for the artists that are like solely dependent on like AI, because when it comes down to it, the music stops, any of that shit, or you cut out your you know how it is, man. It just, anything happens, it can take that much time to take in and break it. And during that time, I was 15.
Right.
I'm 34 now. So to be doing that with a guy like that and him saying, yo, bro, you got bars. I was like, yo, bro. He said it just like the most, yo, bro, you got bars. Oh my God, do you hear that? That's the whoop whoop sound like police. My homie was like, bro, how did you even end up in the same area as this? I was like, honestly, I end up in so many just weird, like, I don't know, man, you wouldn't even think that you would be opening up for Riff Raff or something like that in Asheville, but stuff like that happens,
Yeah, absolutely. I had a chance to open up for KRS-One in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, nice. That would have been a nice one too.
It was fresh in Deep Ellum, Dallas.
Oh man,
it was definitely
I haven't got to go to Texas yet. I want to. I want to go do something out there in Houston. Really want to.
I should have asked you way earlier. Where you located? And what's the music scene like out there coming up?
Oh man, there's a great collective. I'm actually in Huntington, West Virginia right now. We lost our house in Asheville in the Hurricane Helene. Yeah, dude, it rained and poured this year, dude. And
sure.
We're still sticking, but we're now under contract. I'm in an Airbnb right now with my family until the closing date. But we're in Huntington, and dude, the music scene's actually pretty cool, man. Like real punk people, like real punk artists are like really throwing down out there. I'm talking about like there's actual blood. I was like,
here we go.
Oh, hell, yeah, there's actual blood, and some people that look like Henry Rollins, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, even aside from that, they're doing the DIY, man. You know what I'm saying? They're exploring the realms of actually pushing some creativity. So I broke in and partnered up with Marshall University. So I'm actually I'm partnered with Marshall. So like it's actually the biggest university in the country for as far as medical stuff goes. Yes, and it's wild, dude. And it's the Herd actually getting involved now, launching Heard Enough live music review. So if you're a local artist or even not local, you can break in to be local. Send your music on there. I'm not charging people for stuff like that. And I believe in, evolving and supporting things, It doesn't mean that, somebody, people don't, deserve recognition or whatever, but I like to see where if you're a true, coming up like from nothing, I know what it's like to get studio time. It's hard to get gas. It's hard enough to get gas.
I know it. I always ask artists, how can I word this? When you were starting to put music together and you started seeing all these numbers and pricing, and how were you able to finance your music in the beginning to where you are now?
Figured it out, dude. Honestly,
lots of mistakes. You're saying that?
Yeah, actually, the cool thing about it is this is part of my campaign too. Is with me doing these workshops, a lot of us have financial aid that you can dip into, and you don't have to get stuck on being, within financial debt forever. There's forgiveness programs and stuff like that where I've taken advantage of being able to do that. Where you start, and if it's your passion anyway, why would I not hook up to get $3,000 worth of free equipment that I need because I need to record?
Right.
We'll go record, because realistically what it comes down to is this. Everybody that does use those AI elements and stuff like that, I'm not talking about the ones that are literally writing a whole song and then just throwing it out faces. The guy that is doing 2 jobs, supporting his family, he's coming up with all of this material, and he's actually got a producer, if not himself, making these beats. He's recording and does not understand logic. Not just logic, computer logic, and doesn't know how to really know his mastering. So there are tools for you to learn how to develop without biting and really tarnishing your creativity as an artist, because it really is not going to go but so far with those cues, man. And I wish people would pick up on it, because it all sounds the same.
Yeah.
It all sounds the same, and there's actually algorithmic vocabulary in there. Sorry, guys. You can really talk to a lot of your favorite artists. That's where they got the vocal profiles from. I do voiceovers, so I'm telling you, like, as far as voice audition and if it's coming into stuff like that, you're required to know. So you'll end up picking up on things, so.
Absolutely. Dope. So dope. So really just been experience after experience, and how you're able to kind of make your own plan.
Oh, yeah, dude. Taking apart Rock Band, Guitar Hero, stuff like that. PlayStation Duty. That's how we were making MIDI controllers. We didn't know that Rock Band, the controllers were MIDI controllers.
Yeah.
They work the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved MIDI. I had the first setup I had was the Korg Electrics. You remember those?
I think I got it. Yeah. Oh, dude, I had an Alias. The first one that was like it was like this big. It was huge, and it was like black and red. And I think I got it when I was like 17. I was just getting ready to go into the military, so everything that I had was gone. But what I've got now is a little studio mini lab, and it's fine for what I do, man. I don't do a whole lot of that there. It's just once I assign something off of pads or things that I'm putting in with electric drum sets.
Very cool. I've been playing with the new version of Fruity Loops for my EDM production. I personally enjoy creating EDM dubstep tracks over hip hop instrumentals. When it comes to my hip hop, I'd rather work and network with other producers and have them do the production, let them do the mix and masters. They get their name out there along with me. And so it's just not me pushing it on my own. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a team behind me, but dubstep and EDM type stuff, I just have a real joy of creating that type of music, especially with the new Fruity Loops. So I could do it right here on my PC. You don't have to use anything else other than my MIDI board if I wanted to.
That's dope too. I like that. I feel what you're saying too, because the EDM, I feel like I got a buddy that does it. I feel like when you're composing those and putting those things together, whether it's drops and all that, I'm like, you're really focusing on the reaction and that chasing out through moment.
I always practice on my wife. I'm like, if I can make her do a reaction, then I know I got something.
Yeah.
She'll be my biggest critic. She'll tell me the truth.
I know, like everybody that was coming up when I was listening to stuff like that was like, when he came out, it was like, what? The whole thing just changed up. It's like, why you can make this really lucrative?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I mean, I came from the era of selling records from the trunk. And I think that's making a comeback. Personally,
I still do it.
Yeah, you should still do it. I think people should do more often.
Underground Nation family, it's time to introduce you to an artist who embodies everything this culture is about: grind, vision, and authenticity. For over 20 years, Atrophy has carved his own lane, fusing hip-hop, trap, grunge, and metal into a sound that's dark, powerful, and undeniably his. His latest single is more than just music. It's an experience, a story told with raw energy and haunting imagery. This is an artist who doesn't follow trends, he creates worlds. Turn it all the way up. Here's Atrophy with Tattoos in the Cemetery. Let's get it.
Cooking up tracks in the kitchen, I know they gon' eat it too. Look at the girls that came with you, I know that they leaving you. Saying my name in the back and it sounded like Beetlejuice. My yellow rose, they shot. Pikachu. Tattoos in the graveyard, bitch. Come get into them, bitches in the cemetery. Expect to get fucked to death. You fuck like a beast and get it tatted on your chest. If you see it, R.I.P. it's recorded in progress. Reminiscing my life, the pen and paper going. I just type it on the app and keep it moving on. And never had to see the blue lights cruising on. And now I'm rapping in a bit of boy. Keep it subliminal, residuals, minuscule. Don't look, I gotta break it up, spinning the rules. I'm a hungry white boy in a day in the bulls. If it didn't need to go on Molly, I was getting full. Whenever I see to make space, to arrange a place, make a face. Even give a credit and blowing up my face. Star for the strings, so I raise the stakes. Bloody, but I'm like amazing grace. For everybody that said it, that Atrophy wouldn't get it. Well, they must not be aware I'm spitting clinical visits. Cooking up tracks in the kitchen, I know they gon' eat it too. Look at the girls that came with you, I know that they leaving you. Saying my name in the back and it sounded like Beetlejuice. My yellow rose, they shot. Pikachu. Tattoos in the graveyard, bitch. I'm getting to death. Bitches in the cemetery, expect to get fucked to death. You fuck like a beast and get it tatted on your chest.
I feel like there should, honestly, I mean, when it comes down to it, if you're not receiving what you should be receiving on streams, I feel like you should move platforms realistically, because if I have to pay $15 to use the service that I'm distributing my music for, then why am I making 0.003 of a cent per stream?
Right.
And really, because there's going to be a few people that are going to be able to connect to this and say that, yeah, I've sat in an EBT office or a welfare office or a security office and said, when they ask me, what is your income? And I say, 0.003 of a cent, 0.003 of a cent per stream. If you're sitting there with kids, I hope that you have another job lined up to put on that piece of paper, because you might get investigated. But realistically, I'm like, why would there have never been in place a minimum wage act for performers or entertainers? Why would that be so hard, even if it was so simple as 50 cents of a credit? If me and you go to the jukebox in the 90s, we know that 2 quarters got us 1 song.
Yep.
So in this case, if me and you had a platform where not like Spotify, but we had a platform where we were hosting, not charging, just hosting a song. And if you paid 50 cents, you knew you had 50 songs. 50,
right.
50 plays, bro. And in fact, it was called
Napster, the disruptor of the industry.
But was it? It was in a sense, but I feel like, and it definitely was, because it stirred up a lot of crap. But yeah. I think realistically, the big people behind that were at such a conundrum on how much of articles of organization were not there. Because I'll tell you this, it's been really hard for me to bite my tongue on certain situations that I know that I've been screwed on. And I know right now that the only thing holding me back from ruining their career is $650 to keep from buying a trademark in their business license.
Oh, man.
But because I won't say names, and because I won't need to stir beef, I don't need to do that. The point's been made on how you conduct business with people in the industry. So do not be fooled when it goes into, I can make this happen for you, because I've spent $10,000 to do something. And then I've spent 0. And it's all what you believe and what you put into it, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
If your heart's in it and you're really about it, then it's going to work out, So I've been really quiet.
I'm all about the independent grind, independent hustle, but I'm also big on networking and finding others who are on a similar mission. Like you and I, we're on a similar mission. We're on different missions, but they're similar. They relate. So we're able to come together and correspond our experiences and probably find some mayhem within those experiences of how we can then overcome moving forward together as a network, opposed to staying just solo dolo on your own. I mean, that's the biggest reason for me of wanting to work with other producers on hip hop tracks, because we could work together as a unit instead of me just worried about me.
Yeah, because dude, I found so much. It's much more humbling, and it's a lot better knowing. Me and my wife have went across the country a few times, whether it be Amtrak, bus, plane, or whatever.
Right.
We've done this, and with all of our belongings at some time, and we don't really, I'll be real with you, that's a very few times, if any, that I've gotten like monetary revenue, bro. Like, to be real with you, when you're doing that stuff, it can make you salty, it can make you resentful if you're not really, understanding, hey, if I'm not going there with 2 t-shirts, I'm not selling 2 t-shirts, right? So if I go there, I want people to know that set list that I'm performing, somebody's walking away with something. Everybody is, actually. There's not one Guns N' Roses album that you're going to be able to listen to all the way through to the beach without skipping a song. Just saying. So I like to keep that in mind. I'm like, as much as I love Axl Rose, I like my ears.
So what you're saying is you make music that you enjoy. If you enjoy it, you're going to find an audience that enjoys it.
Pretty much, man, because everything, there's not many people in the world at all that's going to be able to be considered a passerby in your life, because whether you're having to shut them out and ignore them, you're putting the energy in to make them not prevalent to your situation. Therefore, you're still having to put it into your self-control. So I find it that if I'm sharing my struggle with you, whether it's just struggling to stay afloat, and I can't swim that great. If my wordplay has to move my water wingies to get up to just the coping of the pool for me to get somebody I've never met to help me on or off the stage, that means a great deal. I'm in stage 4 liver failure, dude.
Oh my God, bro.
And doing these things, like consistently drugging, consistently out, on alcohol and stuff like that, just in and out. You don't realize, if you're not giving yourself a break to acknowledge, what you're stacking. You know, I got, because I've got 3 kids that don't know me, bro, off of this. And just now being able to myself as, you know, a credible parent, you know,
absolutely.
You know, because that's, you know, I just actually, we're doing an adoption officially on August 14th this week with my son. So I'm like, to be literally picking up syringes off of the ground and banging them to, hey, come on, we're going fishing, or hey, man, I just took you to the Detroit Pistons game, or you know, making healthcare. You know, it's a lot, man, and that's where I'm making the music. I don't really fret so much on the audience because the song's fine. The song's fine.
That's right. So you're becoming the role model you wish you had.
Exactly. I struggled so long to become what I wanted to be, and found out that what I was trying to become was just a myth. That was all the stuff I seen on top. You know, when you're actually sitting there talking to the people that have been next to, you know, those experiences and have went through them, and a couple times not listening will really make you open your ears and you're like, yeah, that's really, let me actually really pay attention here, because I'm really about to wreck myself.
Right, absolutely. I had a similar experience when I started having children. So I mean, I had to learn how to become a father, and I never had a father. I had my grandpa, and he passed away when I was like 11, 12. So that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, as an older role models passing away on us and kind of leaving us at a position where, dang, what do I do now?
Yeah, what do I do now? Yeah, but the thing I think is like find a new way to incorporate that piece that you feel, you know, kind of dormant right now. You know, those things that did bring you joy, whether it was even just a chord or something that he played, the tablature, even just, you know, sometimes it's reading an article about something that, you know, your grandpa enjoyed. You can always throw those little things into your content. Is, you know, whether it's a catch line.
That's a good thought. Absolutely.
You know, it just brings you closer to yourself, dude. It doesn't bring you closer to chasing the void. I hate when people are like, "Oh, you need to learn to get over things." I'm like, yeah, you do need to get over a feeling of being stuck. Definitely, but do not ever get over, you know, the feeling of being grateful for somebody that was that impactful. Right. You know, so
we could definitely get over it, but forget it, probably never will. Even if you try.
No, not at all. And plus, that would totally like redact the reason why you're still going and they're passionate about the music that you are, you know.
Absolutely.
That was a foundation setter for you.
Absolutely. You're right.
Looking for the real voices, the raw stories, and the underground culture they don't show you on the surface? Visit www.underground-nation.com and unlock the Underground Nation magazine digital archive. From exclusive interviews with rising artists and tattoo legends to full issues packed with underground music, ink, fashion, and rebellion, it's all there. New issues drop regularly. Every page, every voice, every movement. Tap into the culture at www.underground-nation.com. The underground isn't just music, it's a nation.
Which I wanted to ask you because, as I said in the intro, you blend hip-hop, trap, grunge, metal. Which of these came first for you?
Oh, man.
You kind of answered it earlier, finding the record underneath your dad's bed with metal music, the rock music.
Yeah, definitely the VHS tapes From Here to Infirm, and it was in Eternity. Yeah, From Here to Eternity and Countdown to Extinction by Megadeth. I would say it was metal, but as far as like me being confident enough as to call myself a part of a band, you know, or something that I could represent myself, it was gonna be rap, because when I found out that I couldn't be a front man of the band that I was in at the time, and this is because you're 13 or 12 years old and you're trying to play bass and nobody knows how to play any of those instruments, let alone have them, you know? I found that Anthrax with Public Enemy gave me a little bit of hope of like, whoa, wait a minute, you can do different rap? They're like, oh, boy, bass. How low can you go? Yeah, I was like, oh, let me get that.
Bro, Public Enemy just dropped a new album a couple weeks ago. Have you ever heard it yet?
Dude, I have, and I can't. Every time I interact with them on Instagram, I get shadow banned, man. No, it's because they have so many followers, man. You would have no idea that, you know, some of the activities that they're still, you know, really actually highly involved with. So their production and stuff like that, there's people that are still like working with scoring, you know, movie scores and shit like that. That, obviously when you hear Terminator X and all those names, it's like people don't really, hear about their projects now so much. But
yeah,
man, it's just like when anybody says Public Enemy or Body Count, or yeah, exactly, Wu-Tang, that's really those. Yeah, those are three names, especially. They always go right there. It's it's the same as when somebody says Outlaws and Junior Mafia. You know what I'm saying? It just automatically starts throwing the domino effect of these groups.
Right.
And I love it.
I as well. So did you was there ever any pushback from people or your fans who didn't understand your genre mixing approach?
Honestly, no. And if they did, I don't think I really cared. But the thing was, I'm very animated. And because Wayne's World had a big effect.
Yeah, Wayne's World.
Where you gotta go. But yeah, when I seen him playing the drums in there and seeing Alice Cooper switchbacks, and I was like, man, that's Feed My Frankenstein. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm like, you can hold a snake? Like, you can actually hold them? And, I'm a little kid, man. So, yes, right. I'm asking stupid questions like that. But when you become an entertainer, and looking at everybody, and you don't smoke cigarettes, but you've got a cigarette lit on a stage and you're holding a ferret just because you understand entertainers' rights. And people were like, fuck, is he wearing a diaper and a ferret? And he's got a lit cigarette. He's not smoking. It's just lit backwards, The song can totally be butt sometimes. And I've found that, nowadays, obviously you could be Gallagher and just have like a set list of some loops or whatever. But now looking back at those things that made me where I'm at now, the evolving of theatrics on stage, dude, I give you like my whole everything. I have a whole ego death on stage with you, man. I totally am humilified at the end of it. If I'm not crying with you, or if I'm not actually angry with you, and I'm not supporting with you and singing with you, like I'm in the crowd with you. You don't need to watch me walk back and forth and grab my jeans. Nobody cares. Right. Don't care. You know what I'm saying? So I give that a whole everything. If I fall, which is very, very few times, I don't think I've maybe fell but one time, maybe. And I don't know. I'm in that moment of I'm supplying what I understand my job is. And I am a stage master. I am a stage coach. So I want to bring that whole stage to you. When you leave the venue, I want you to feel like you got pieces of the stage in your shorts. Really.
Do you feel that could be a future career for you, is coaching other artists who are upcoming and helping them break their fear of the stage?
Yeah, definitely. That's all. I think that's the beautiful thing now is, attacking these things that I'm passionate about, especially with Marshall. Marshall University is going to be a very big, groundbreaking thing, I think, because I'm bringing not just the students, but the students and faculty. This isn't just limited. So this is like students that are there that are artists and musicians, poets or whatever. You got faculty, then you have the community. Right. And of course, with it merged on the Clubhouse platform, we'll be able to, connect with other people. Hopefully get some other universities in line to do that.
Hey, very cool.
Because you don't really realize it, but if you're doing music and you're involved with a college university, right, then what does that open for you?
Lots of
EA Sports, those things. So when you're so involvement with these things and taking it very seriously and choosing those battles, like I mentioned with you, and just being quiet sometimes and moving business-wise. I made that comment earlier just because that is a tool, and sometimes those things can happen to people and it turned out totally horrible. People get unalived over stuff like that, so I'm not trying to get into a whole bunch of like gang beef and crap off of stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I hate it.
So yeah, I've been there. And at that point, there's no retirement plan. They don't even give you dental.
Sure don't. So that's how I kind of found myself putting myself into the financial world, because there are so many people around me in the hood, in the music industry, that were trying to come up and were just lost of how to protect their family, how to plan for a future, how to insure themselves. I'm like, dude, this is information they don't want us to know. They want you to fuck up. They want you to bury yourself in debt and just put yourself in a financial trap, so to eventually cause you to quit.
Or end up dead. And most of the time what's sad about it is the perpetuation of being fearful of the street, to finding out that the person that you needed to be scared of the whole time was yourself, because of the lack of control that you lost on life's terms. Most of our homies ended up going off of drugs. Well, I'm not speaking for you, but in my experience, you know, a lot of them battled with uncertainties to the point where they exceeded a limit and took themselves out. And it's the same thing that's being perpetuated with music, with, you know, the fan base now. It's like, how can artists nowadays have a fan base that is literally deleting themselves? You know what I'm saying? Like,
The fentanyl crisis.
yeah. I mean, even
epidemic. I'll say that instead. Crisis.
yeah.
Fentanyl epidemic.
Yeah, the lack of knowledge on that stuff too. See, I do all that stuff, man. When I do outreach, I can't wear Air Forces if I'm doing outreach. If I'm doing outreach, I'm going in places where you see, like in these woods and shit right here, because behind Goodwill, where they're flying the signs, is where the people are that have mercy, where the people are that have dogs and kids and shit that don't want to be locked up because they're dealing with warrants, they're dealing with addiction, all this shit, domestic violence stuff. There's, you know, young girls just out there that's stuck with some older, you know, 30, 40-year-old guy, got them strung out. They're staying at budgets, you know. So when you get to the bottom of stuff, like, you don't find that by handing $1 to some dude that needs a beer. While that's cool, I get the gesture. I've been on all of these people. I've been the guy flying the sign, the one that was too sick to fly and in the woods, and now I'm the dude that's trying to not save the world, but try to just share a little, you know, enlightenment. Man, I get on my kids about that, you know.
Even if you save one person from falling into darkness, it's worth it.
Oh, there's never enough matches, man. Me and her stayed in Oakland. It was constant. I could not leave the hotel without going and having to have at least 6 or 7 Narcans on me. And then I would have to. I found myself going to the bridge spots.
I keep that thing on me.
Yeah, And so I had to tell them. You know, I actually, you know, I'd leave boxes, but I would start going to the bridges outside of where the Hotel Utah Saloon is. It's where Robin Williams and Whoopi Goldberg got her start. There's this crazy community over there. It's like a big tent city, and they're all using. But the thing is these, what do you call it, harm reduction? Even these crews are some, you know, in recovery and lack the skills of actually letting these people know what's going on. A lot of these people get the clout off of sharing a post saying, hey, look what I'm doing, leaving this there. And meanwhile, they're probably getting ambulance rushed down there. I take the time to show them that the nasal does not work unless you're aware of your own overdose. If you were aware that you were about to overdose, then it's possible for you to get that in there while your airway is open, right?
Right.
If you're laying on your back, you can't tell me that you're overdosing, nor is anybody around them going to be aware enough to even give you CPR, open your airway.
Oh, man.
So do just enough.
Even thought about.
Yeah, so just do just enough to say, well, we give them, you know, preventative actions. That's not preventative actions. That's a desperate measure, and that's the smallest amount you could possibly get. So, you know, I give drink condoms to clubs and venues when I go. So your drinks ain't getting spiked or hit with GHB. None of that stuff. Dude, I look out for my people, bro. I mess around, man.
And you know, what's really hard to talk about is when you have friends and family who you know who are actively addicted to things, but yet you want to be around them because you love them.
You already know the sound of Atrophy raw, unfiltered, genre-bending fire that lives deep in the underground. But did you know he's not alone? The Underground Nation magazine is your home for discovering artists who share that same grind, hunger, and fearless creativity. If you vibe with tattoos in the cemetery and the unique energy Atrophy brings, you'll love hearing the stories and sounds of other underground innovators pushing the culture forward. From hip-hop to trap metal, grunge rap to experimental sounds, we've got it all right here at underground-nation.com.
So what happened is on Christmas Day of 2023, bro, you know, family comes in and out of the house, right? On Christmas Day, especially. And and the kid, they want to see the kids and bring gifts, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's riding stuff and
But that night, my wife was cooking, bro. Her sister came over and they were having a couple drinks and they go outside for a cigarette. So my wife, she didn't have a cigarette. So she asked the sister, can you give me a cigarette? And of course, she don't have the cigarettes. Boyfriend that's in the car outside has the cigarettes.
Yeah, fentanyl in them.
So they go sit down with boyfriend. He passes a cigarette to my wife None of them realizing he's in the car smoking fentanyl. So he reached for a cigarette, having fentanyl
On his fingertips.
residue on his fingertips, grabbed it from the box. So as soon as she put it in her mouth and lit it,
she's like,
yeah. She's alive now. But instead of calling 911 for a fucking ambulance, they rushed her to the hospital themselves and just disappeared.
Oh yeah, man, dude, I'm telling you. And see, like I said again, lack of awareness, right? They can save so much. So, man, I even had a campaign. It was called Load, lack of load, LOAD, lack of awareness, dog. Meaning where, man? Because you have no idea, man, like the amount of people that are not aware of what is happening around them.
You're right. You're right.
I have no idea.
You're right. And I'm learning. I was just having a conversation similar to this yesterday about a lot of us have like a mental whatever issue that we don't even realize that we have, and that's why a lot of hurt people are hurting other people. Is they don't even realize what the hurt actually is.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until I stopped drinking. The drinking was the last thing, man. Everything else, like I was slamming everything. I'm open about that. I was banging everything under the sun and under the moon, and to go from not being on fentanyl, not being on heroin, crank. I'm talking about crank, not meth. Like I didn't get a handbook of all of these things. I looked at it as like getting high was an art form, and I was ready to go anyway. I had already felt like I'm like, what the fuck, man? Everything is just it's the same thing. I'm never going to be anything. But why would I perpetuate that? It's because of these same. I identify with you on certain things. Like I didn't have the parents present enough to really supply a family. So as I got older, I wanted to have a family. So when those things are destructive and imploding, and I'm obviously not stable for it, right, that ends, you get into another one, not addressing the old wounds, man. And now I've got a 12-year-old I haven't seen since he was 1. And he's born on Christmas, so it adds salt to the wound. He was conceived on April 1st, April Fool's Day. So it's just this and born on Christmas Day. And I was in prison when I met him. So, excuse me. Yep. So when it comes into that, I have a lot of things that when it goes to looking at social media, my baby mamas are, if there's only one that pays attention like that, but most of them are like, oh, you're living your best life. You're not involved with it. I'm like, no, hold on. I'm not. I'm like, because realistically, I've tried every bit of everything, documented. This is the first time I've ever been able to have my name on a piece of paper saying I'm a plaintiff, dog. So for me to be able to say, hey, I'm doing the steps to be a father and not a baby daddy, I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to get my, everything taken care of, man. Gotta have the kids right, man. I can't be about what if I'm lacking like that.
You're right.
So
I'm proud of you, bro, for making that decision. I mean, one day you made a decision and you stuck to it.
Yeah, I don't have a choice, man. They don't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? They don't. They're the other half of their, the parentals in this is lacking the awareness. Like I said, dude, I have, like I said, my oldest son. I'm still trying to locate, but my youngest. This crazy, man, to be sitting here trying to put studio stuff together, and you get updates talking about, if your baby mama's arrested with somebody who's concealing a murder. And
oh, wow.
Yeah. So you're like, hold up, man. This dude and my kids, I'm like, no, this ain't adding up. I can't give into the stigma that I've allowed so long to be the truth, like I'm a bad guy. I'm not there for my kids. I'm like, no, sometimes relationships don't work out, but you can't take it out on a kid for years. It's not fair.
Definitely not fair. Definitely should never happen. But I'm definitely glad to hear that you turn everything around. You're becoming the role model for your kids that you wish you had. That's incredible. That's incredible. And you're sticking to it. That's why I tell people, you just got to make the decision. Whatever it is that you want to go out and achieve, you have to make the decision, decide, then create a plan, then execute that thing. The plan may adjust. The plan will adjust.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But the plan should never change.
Yeah, we can adjust it, but just have a goal. That's what we're working on now is, try to identify some goals and get some direction going.
Absolutely. I was wanting to ask you, where do you usually write your music? Studio, home, on the road, like you were yesterday fishing?
I know, man. Sometimes I'll write there fishing too. Realistically, a lot of times, obviously, like it's my life I'm sharing. So A lot of times, if I'm doing an exercise where I may be listening to a few instrumentals that I get from producers, I usually will go 3 or 4 hours where I'm just standing up. Because this right here is normally the longest that I'll sit is when I'm doing interviews and stuff. Because my medical stuff, it won't allow me, dude. It hurts so bad. And, I appreciate you. It's just like the swelling in my stomach. It causes so much there. That's why I tattoo very limited now. But I get the best result if I am writing pretty much in like a natural spring. I know that sounds kind of very specific, but my best result is a natural spring just because it's like that cool air coming off of the water. It could be hot as crap, but it's weird how that stuff works, man. And I'd never really been to one until we went to Sutra Baths. I think that's what it was. It's on the West Coast. It's around the Second City. It was beautiful. It's a Greek bath. Like, when you see ancient Rome bathhouse, you're like, oh man, this is nuts. So and ever since doing it at like natural spring baths and stuff like that, dude, it's like, you're actually really self-reflecting on yourself and what you want to project. Right. I'm not always on peanut butter and jelly times. I got a slow roast sometimes.
Absolutely. But as you said, you're telling your life story and the experiences that you went through. How do you handle those moments when you have creative block?
The underground never sleeps, and neither does the movement. The brand new issue of Underground Nation magazine is here packed front to back with exclusive artist interviews, raw stories, and the culture you can't find anywhere else. If you live for the underground, the music, the grind, the lifestyle, this magazine is for you. Don't wait. Don't sleep on it. Support the movement and grab your copy today at ugnstore.com. That's ugnstore.com. Get plugged into the underground and order your copy today.
Oh man, I just got back into skateboarding. It seems like I'm having to think because there's so much now that I've reverted back to. So skateboarding, the reason being is because I'm 34. And if you go there to a skate park without a skateboard, it's fucking weird. So if you go there, I go there with a skateboard because I will skate, not to the extremes of hurting myself, but I will skate there and I'll play a couple tracks or something. And normally I'll have some skate wax that I have for free and I hand it out. So while I'm networking, usually somebody shares with me some insight or some things that is going on and we connect. The next thing you know, we've got a plethora of material. There's usually jokes or one-liners that's kicked out there that, oh, well, that's great. Punchline. It could be how somebody falls. You never know. I actually did that coming up with Pop War Cowboy. It hasn't hit yet, but it will,
Well, the song that caught my attention after, diving into your music catalog was, I believe, the newest track. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Tattoos in the Cemetery.
Yeah, the shredded version. We released that one, I think, the day after Steal This Song. But I love Tattoos in the Cemetery because it's got all the nostalgic pieces for me. Beetlejuice, we had Pikachu, like just the different personification behind different things. And the rhyme scheme is nuts. Like it's choppy, so I love performing that because you don't see that no more. People don't see you actually performing that shit, like, and actually being right there at them. And if you pull the microphone away, stuff ain't happening no more. Like, oh, did you see that? Yeah, you pulled the microphone away, it just got quiet. I don't understand. Like, yeah, microphone's right.
Well, the track has like an eerie cinematic quality. Was that intentional from the start?
Oh, yeah. Just anytime you heard Beetlejuice, like when the movie was on, obviously, but there was this cool click to me with the animated series when I was younger. Yeah. It's just that dark, I was like, oh, man, we need something like this. And when it gets you that hype to move and it's actually catchy, it's really hard to hit a burst rap track with those elements that are nostalgic and not be corny. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a lane that's really hard to do. I mean that in the best sense that I possibly can. Cause those tracks that came out by like D4L, remember like Laffy 10, Don't Drop That Dun Dun Dun. I actually had released that song before they did. And I ran into the guy that released Don't Drop That Dun in Hollywood. Yeah. He was like, I'm going to go perform down here. And I was like, I released that song for y'all, dude. He's like, word. y'all, you need to come down here. Like, this is crazy, kind of disrespectful, but yeah, I'll go. It was a time of sound, not sound cloud. It was sound click. You know what I'm saying? This when people was really, they were stealing everything on sound click.
Oh,
it was over for you. Yeah.
Oh man, I was just telling last night on the stream. We do a live stream to look for new artists, and someone brought up Suicide Boys, and I was like, I love Suicide Boys, but this dude was like, they have all this original work, and I was like, bro, they're sued right now for stealing so many samples that they ain't clearing with 3 6 Mafia and shit coming at them. Like, bro, you got to clear your samples. Clear your samples, or else they will come for your head, especially when you start earning money.
Dude, and you know, because when people ask me about some of the beats and shit that I get, like when I'm releasing something, I have a process that, because it is finance, you know what I'm saying, to think, all right, is it gonna make logical sense for me to invest in exclusive rights all the way out on something that I'm questionable about on a release? No, because it's covered up to like 1 million streams, and if you just started Spotify last week, you're not getting 1 million streams, and you're not hanging out with Drake. So 9 out of 10, you're probably gonna have to, you know, start with a standard lease, build a relationship with your producers that are in your lane that you work with most. That's what I do. I do that, and I still end up with, because it's funny, because like they're most of the time overseas, and when they get back to me, it's like a response, and it's kind of like broken a little bit, and it's like, do you have the license for this contract? I'm like, and you'll see there's like 17 other emails between me and the same guy that, yes, I have the contracts here and the license agreement, all this. So I always was like belittling it, you know, until it came a time where it was like, oh man, this shit's really serious here. I need to make sure I have everything, because I was scared to death, dude. I released, I don't know if you've seen it, but Still This Song has got Chris Calico and a twist on it. And I released that on a Monday. You know, I wanted to defy it. They was like, no, best time to do it's on Friday. I'm going to do it Monday. And I'm going to do it back to back. So I released one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday. I did it for 2 weeks straight. And I just released a song every day for 2 weeks. And I didn't do no promo. Dude, Still This Song ended up with 25,000 streams and over 900 playlist ads algorithmically from Spotify in less than 72 hours. And I was like, man, don't let nobody tell you all this crap about you got to hit all this stuff at this point, man. Just do what you do.
That's right. You know how many times I got asked, how many times should I post on social media? What's the best time to post? I'm like, anytime is the best time to post.
Yeah.
At least there's no set amount. There's no right answer.
Unless you're in a breakup. I will tell you that there's some circumstances probably you need to stay off of social media. I would just say that'd be, you know, there's not. I'll agree with you on that one. But I will tell you though, that the manic stuff, the Instagram, you know what I mean? I sucked at it. I still feel like I suck at it because
well, let me ask you this, because I mean, you've been on the grind for over 20 years doing this.
Yeah.
What's the biggest difference in the industry now versus when you started?
I hate it, man. I feel like really the biggest letdown is the ones. I know, right? Yeah. The biggest letdown is the ones that I looked up to the most, and to find out that quite to the literal sense, the biggest ones that I looked up to this day, I'm proud to say, are clowns.
Clowns, and not a good clown either.
And I love that. The reason I said that is because I ended up, you know, putting artists on pedestals and probably not even deserving in certain senses. But when it got to working and seeing where people's morals were and people's values were in shows, or how they treat their fan base, or how people, you know, conduct themselves with their fans, and their business, man. I'm like, dude, Violent J and Shaggy, okay, ICP. I will say I got to go and do the JCW versus GCW Detroit show at the Majestic Theater.
Nice. That was not that long ago. No, dude, we just did it, and it was fire. And you know what? I did not get the memo that I was not supposed to jump in the ring. Oh,
it's so nothing, bro. Because guess what, man? My wife, man, I love her, man. She saved the actual show because there was. Yes, she had been around me and all these different experiences that she knew exactly what was going on. These guys, like, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but you would be surprised how many people don't show up with a MacBook, a laptop, a flash drive. I show up with all of them and a lunchbox. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta have all of them, and sometimes she's got doubles, you know. So what ended up happening was there was no sound guy. DJ Clay is DJ Clay.
Yeah.
You know, he works with ICP for ICP. You know what I'm saying? And I respect his time, but whatever the situation was for our segment of the show, we ain't had no DJ, so she got to be running, you know, sound back there. Well, dude, they're shooting film for JCW Lunacy. We're back there watching, you know, Violent J, you know, the miracle, you know, back there, the Fago back there. Like, is this really happening? You know, like that kid inside of you starts tugging, and you're like, not now, son. I'm trying to get my star struck off right now. You know?
Yeah.
But when you see how they didn't ask me for no money, bro. They didn't ask me for no bread. They ended up giving me a bunch of tickets to, you know, make some money myself. And they were like, in fact, just give them out. So I was like, well, fuck that. I'll just give them out. I'm not going to go and be that guy. It's like, I got to eat like that. I signed, I don't know how many of them, probably 500 tickets, dude. Would you believe, like, I had a whole dispensary, a cookies dispensary from Detroit pull up.
Wow.
House of Dank was there. So, you know, I had like people that when they were like, yo, bring as many people as you can, I was like, well, I'm going to the skate shops. I'm going to the horror shop. I'm going to the comic shop and having real conversations with these people because I used to wrestle. I love that shit. And it's still very active in my involvement with music, man. So I'm actually putting more tracks together for Barnabas and the Outbreak for his concert.
Barnabas?
Yeah, he's a great dude. So, you know, I've got a lot of exciting stuff, man, coming on just off of music, man. And I guess the grind, dude.
Well, I'm definitely excited for your new venture with JCW. I'll be paying more attention now to Barnabas and the Dead Zombie Boys.
I know, man. They're so cool, dude. Like, made him talk. And I told him, I said, I appreciate you for bringing, you know, those guys more. But I said, there's not another manager aside from like Paul Bearer that bring that aspect of believability of control. And, you know, when I seen the Outbreak, they're really talented. Yes, they're limited in certain aspects in matches, I think, because of the opposer's size difference. They're really hard, man, to wrestle because they're like rag dolls. You know what I'm saying? They're like really flimsy. So I really appreciated the fact that they bring an aspect that you had to really adapt to. You watch those kids, man. If you watch the kids, that's where I find the most response, man. Seeing kids actually feel like, you know, a zombie's really fun. Yeah, because the first time that
they look really believable.
Oh, seriously. they fought Yabo and I can't remember the clowns. The Brothers of Funstruction.
Yeah, Funstruction.
Dude, they fought them at the Majestic Theater show, and this was like the first show that my kids got to see. This is the first wrestling show that they got to see.
Incredible. What a first-time gig, or first-time show.
Yeah, and it was the first of them being able to see me perform live. So they
what an epic night.
She got to hang out with Mickey Knuckles. Willie Mack used my deadhead Ed mannequin mask to beat one of the opponents there. And, you know, see the kids smiling with glass light bulbs raining down on them was like, you know, it's good family fun, you know?
Absolutely. That is dope, man. I bet that was an amazing feeling for you to be able to provide them that experience.
Underground Nation, the hunt is on. Bounce Ball Boogie and his co-host Spot Vega are live on TikTok, leading the panel in search of the hottest undiscovered talent. Think you've got what it takes? Here's your shot to prove it. Drop your track into the live stream, donate 99 coins for one full song play. The panel will review it live, give you real-time feedback, and if your sound hits, you'll earn a spot in the hot seat on the Underground Nation podcast. On TikTok, follow @Bounce Ball Boogie to join in on the fun every Thursday and Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Man, it was cool.
Especially from someone who thought they would even be alive today.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. My wife gets on me so much. Yeah, I'm the biggest critic, and I hate it. I rag on myself so bad. You know, she's just like, I don't know why you like that. I know what you was like. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Thank you. Like you got, you know, she's like, you need to be more, I guess, accepting of the things that I've been working on, dude. Really hard on myself.
Definitely accept it, bro. Accept it. Freaking accept it. Freaking love the moment. Freaking capture that dream, dude, because you're definitely on the way, man.
I hope so, man. I feel like I'm getting there, dude. I really do.
You're on the brink. You're on the brink of something great.
I hope so, man.
Well, can I ask, now that you're kind of like seeing everything kind of, you know, you're seeing the puzzle pieces coming together, right? Are there any non-music ventures you want to explore into, like film, fashion, writing,
Yeah, well,
movies?
yeah, I've actually been trying to dive more since I like using my voice on doing the voiceovers and more animated kind of things there, just because it does supply so much joy. It's fun.
Yeah. No.
It's a good pastime, man. You watch animations on mute and play around with sound effects that you got, whether it's bottles like this, and
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. I got kids now, so like all the values are still there, so I have to find ways to incorporate it without taking away my attention from them so much, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she's starting to come out of her shell more, and she wants to sing. So I'm like, well, I can't always be on my like Thug Dizzle thing all the time. So and then they're on that K-pop Demon Hunter thing, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, it's definitely cool that to see you become a mentor. It's almost like it's naturally happening just because of your experiences in life.
Yeah, then that's cool that you bring that up. So like I did peer support for a while, and it drugged me a little bit. I think if you're really in a dark spot in yourself, it's really hard to provide a good light for anybody else. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that we've got coming up now is we're going back to meet Jerry Cantrell, and after that, I think hopefully we'll hear back from the scholarship on the rock fantasy camp with Alice Cooper and Rob Halford.
Cool.
So
very cool. Well, definitely to the loop. We're definitely willing to help you with some promo. Anything that we can help to support you and your movement, just let Underground Nation know we got your back.
Oh yeah, man, I appreciate you, man, and likewise as well, man.
Fantastic. Can I just ask before I let you go, because I know you probably got to get moving with your body, but when all is said and done, how do you want Atrophy to be remembered?
Oh man, I want to be remembered as a conduit and as a catalyst for things that are creative. I want to be remembered for somebody that stood for somebody that wanted to see people move forward and build each other up and not tear each other apart.
Incredible. Very well said, man. I felt that.
Yeah,
That's from the heart. That's from the heart. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, man. Well, this next minute or two, this is all you. If you have any shout outs, any special thanks you want to send out to the universe, to your people, go ahead. Let it rip, my man.
Oh, yeah. So first off, I want to shout out you for doing this, man. Really, I want to say thank you for this, man. I don't have like a great intro that you gave me, man, because oh God, that was so great. I know, but I would definitely give a shout out to my wife and my kids, man. I love them all. And I want everybody to get the information that Atrophy is going to be able to be found on both my official website, which is officialatrophy.com, as well as Instagram, official_atrophy. You can find me all over YouTube, Spotify, all the platforms. But, I really just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to share what what I had to say and get to know me and actually have a real conversation, man. So much is lost on, I have to get this here, I have to get that there. I'm glad that me and you get to have this correspondence. I dig the beard, I love the hat.
Thanks.
I appreciate your time so much, man. I'm sure we'll be working some more in the future, man.
Yeah, definitely look forward to discussing that, any projects, anything that, like I said, with your movement journey, we're definitely willing to help promote that here in the Underground Nation. We look for great artists, and when we see one that's doing great things for not just themselves and their family, but for the community around them, we definitely stand behind that 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And in fact, since because you said that, a great friend, I consider him a great friend of mine, Juice Lord. You should check out Juice Lord, JOOSE Lord, and that's everybody.
Okay, Juice Lord.
I'm talking about if you
You spelled it like the alcohol juice. Those things used to get me lit.
I tell you what, he will get you lit. I'm telling you, man. He is a. If you, man, I love the support that you guys gave me, and I can only imagine his son. You know what I'm saying? His son's got brain cancer. He just got hit with that at 4, and to see this man struggling as an independent artist and really overcoming a lot of things, dude. He's got a great heart and an even like greater catalog. His son his name's Onyx, and that's a strong name, and it resembles strength to me, man. And I love the bond that they showcase. So I would definitely, I don't think that I would waste anyone's time, giving that piece here between me and you here in the audience to shed some light on that, man. And I appreciate you and everybody here. Thank you.
Fantastic, Atrophy. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was an amazing story, amazing time to learn more about you and your background. And everywhere you're going, you got our support 100%. And everyone out there listening, take the time to go follow, subscribe today, Atrophy music is here to stay.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
Awesome.
brother.
That's a wrap on today's Underground Nation podcast. Big respect and gratitude to Atrophy for stepping into the booth with us and sharing his journey, his vision, and his sound. If you're feeling what you heard, make sure you go follow him right now, tap into his music, and keep supporting the grind. And don't forget, you can catch more raw conversations, undiscovered talent, and the heartbeat of the underground right here at the Underground Nation podcast. Check us out today and stay locked in because the underground never sleeps at underground-nation.com.